Dial Models Workshop.
Hi, it's Yeji.
And Clint.
Hey, it's Larry. You are entering Models Workshop After Hours, a modeling podcast where we talk about miniatures, model painting, and we cuss a lot. If you can be offended, we're probably going to offend you. Then you're going to laugh, and you're going to feel bad. And then we'll offend you again, and then you'll laugh again. You see the pattern. So kick out, sit back, grab your brush, grab your paints, and get ready to have some fun.
Hello, model workers, and welcome to the first Models Workshop After Hours UK edition. I'm Peter, and I'm joined tonight by Chloe.
Hello.
And Ian.
How do?
And Simon.
Hey.
We don't have Larry, Yeji, Clint, Gildy or Jim tonight. This is the UK edition. Before we get going properly, this episode of Models Workshop After Hours is sponsored by Audible.com, and you can grab 2 free books, not just one, by visiting www.bit.ly/afterhoursaudible. And whatever you choose is yours for life, even if you decide to cancel your membership. Ian, I think that you and I are reading the same book. Isn't that right?
We are, yes, I believe so.
And it is scary as shit.
It is.
How far have you got into it in number of hours?
It's telling me that I have about 28 hours left, which is...
Okay, you're about 10 hours ahead of me then. I mean, this is 46 hours of a free book. Every single detail, voices, acting, it's a brilliant performance, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those where I probably wouldn't read it as an actual book, simply because I'd probably get bored, but I don't mind someone actually reading it to me at that length. But they do go into quite a lot of detail.
Yeah, I found Ready Player One, which I had read at me a few weeks ago, just before the movie came out. That was fun, but I found a lot of the lists that was a little bit jarring to be read at me. Whereas on a page, I guess if I was flicking through a paperback, I could see the whole list and just either skim it or read it or whatever, and just understand it as a list. But having numbers read at me constantly was I found a bit annoying. Even if it was Will Wheaton reading it.
Well, the one thing I found about it is it's kind of opened my eyes into American culture, especially, like in the 50s towards the 80s. It was kind of like, if your child didn't eat their tea, beat the shit out of them. If your child didn't win a sport,
Well, I mean, you've got a small kid. Are you going to bring that parenting style back?
I probably won't beat them. I might just hang him out the window, swing him a little bit out the window. I don't want to go too far.
That's pretty standard. Chloe, Simon, are you on Audible?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Chloe, what are you reading at the minute?
Finished 3 books this month. So, What Happened by Hillary Clinton, Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know by Ranulph Fiennes, and How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran. All quite good.
Yeah.
So, interesting. Don't know whether most of the Hillary Clinton one is true, but I read the other one, Fire and Fury, about Trump, so I like to see both sides of different stories.
Fair enough.
I'm just nosy, really. That's the reason why I like to listen to them, but we never know, do we?
No, it's it is what it is. I guess we'll find out the truth in about 100 years' time.
Too late then for me.
Well, yeah, me too. Like way late. What about you, Simon? What are you reading?
At the moment, the Game of Thrones. I've actually read the book myself before, but I really enjoyed it. So it's one of those that I thought I'd try out on Audible, because it's not something I'd ever listened to before or considered listening to until I started listening to the American version I was talking about, and I thought it's too interesting to just see what it's like, have something like that on in the background while you're working away. So I thought Game of Thrones would be a good one to start with. That's quite good so far, although there's probably about 40 odd hours left of the book.
Wow. Which one? The first one?
Yeah, the very first one.
Right.
I'm a slow reader, so it took me ages to read the book itself. So,
I think I started reading that when just after the first season came out,
Yep.
And it was so close to what they shot on for the HBO series that I couldn't read it because I'd literally just been through it.
Yeah. I've seen the TV show first. But I was more interested to see how different the book was in certain parts to the TV show. One of the reasons why I read it. But yeah, it is a very long book. But it's good fun.
Yeah, I found that with... Sorry, go on.
Just say it's fun listening to it. Say while you're working away, having it on in the background is something that I've never considered doing before. So it's been good.
Yeah, I tend to stick my phone up and stream either in Netflix, something something that doesn't need much attention, and just have a picture going on, or I don't tend to have any music on when or books. I think because I've got a background in music, I tend to actually just sit down and listen to the music, or start analysing it, or trying to think why did they do that, or I could have done it better. Whereas watching an old Next Generation or I don't know, whatever's on DC stuff on Now TV, the Flash and Arrow and stuff like that, does not need much attention. So I can listen to it almost like a radio play, and then look up every now and then, see some special effects. Yeah.
That's pretty much all I used to do, was just mainly with YouTube videos, and just have YouTube videos on the background, have mainly modelling videos and stuff like that. And I say you tend to listen to it more than you pay attention to actually watching.
Yeah. So what's everybody working on? Because this is a virtual painting circle. We're all in our little club, sitting around a table, and we've all got our paints out and models, and we're just shooting the breeze and getting on with our hobby. So, Ian, what are you painting this evening?
In front of me, I have a baby sturm tiger, which I've tried to build over the last month. And some of you guys might know that I've actually recently moved with my wife and the little kids, so I've not really had a lot of time for doing much. So I built this up over a couple of nights, and I've sprayed it. So I'm planning to try and get a bit of paint on it.
Cool. This is what, a tank?
Yeah, it's a late production sturm tiger. It's like 1/72 scale, so it's like quite small. It fits in the actual palm of my hands.
Wow.
So it's quite tiny. So if I really wanted to, I could just get like a big brush, and just like a paintbrush, like one you put on the walls, and just do it in 2 swipes. But I'm probably going to take a little bit more time than that.
Just dip it in some mud.
I could literally probably just get some brown emulsion paint and just dip it in and take it out and go, that's it. But I'm pretty sure that I'd get death threats from any rivet counter that would be listening or watching of me doing that I did it in a slightly wrong shade.
Yep,
paint.
Those are my favourite kind of people.
Yeah, German armour rivet counters are the worst.
I don't think I'll ever build any German armour, just because if I ever get into an argument with somebody about the shade of fucking paint that I've put on it, somebody's going to get decked.
This is serious business.
So the wrong Dunkelgelb.
I'd probably get my teeth kicked in just simply because I built it out of the box. It didn't change anything because it's automatically wrong as it comes out of the box, I'm sure.
Oh my god, you mean you didn't spend a fortune on resin aftermarket and photo etched tracks?
No, I didn't spend 50 quid on 2 little exhausts that go on the back, which are about as long as my fingernail.
It sounds ridiculous.
I could be a dick like that
and a steel-turned barrel for the turret gun.
Yeah, I was tempted to just change it and just put a straw in there, but it's probably wide enough. But I don't want to go too extreme. You've got to calm yourself down sometimes.
And you're not putting any lights or any flashing electronics in there?
No.
No, just take a 4-inch brush and slap a bit of brown on it.
Yeah, I've got some like brown emulsion tester pots that I use for doing like ground. I might just slap it on, and just get it done really quick.
Lovely. Quick and dirty out of the box.
Yep.
Well, that's sometimes what you need, isn't it? To just to get your hobby mojo back in, where you've done something ridiculous like move house, and you've had to box everything away. You just get something quick and easy out, and just build it and find your rhythm again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's just trying to get back into it, and I've got Reggie from Walking Dead All Out War on my desk, and Walker. I'm assuming it's because he's a walker, not because that's his name, but I probably paint them up as well.
He's not wearing he's not got a beard and got a long trench coat, has he, the Walker? The
Walker? No.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
He's clean shaven, surprisingly, for a dead person.
I was going to say, because if somebody did a zombie version of Chuck Norris as Walker Texas Ranger, then that'd be pretty awesome.
It'd probably be the toughest walker out there.
Challenge accepted.
That is why Chuck Norris can never die, because he will come back. Just keeps coming back and back and back. It's, in fact, he's on his 17th reincarnation already. Simon, what are you working on?
At the moment, I am painting a 1/10 scale Tommy's War bust, which is a captain of the 2nd Battalion, South Wales Borders, 1914 World War One British soldier, basically. So I'm attempting to paint that. As more
10th
for
scale, so that's
yeah.
What about 120mm tall?
It's only a bust, so it's only shoulders and head, basically, and just lower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the head's around about the size of my thumb, so I'm not sure figure-wise what that would be. I have no idea.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I've never painted anything that big, actually. I mean, I've painted bigger. I've painted, I do 1-to-1 stuff, but I've never done 10th scale. I've never looked at doing sort of busts.
They do. Main reason I got these were they was quite reasonably priced. I think this was about £14, which compared to some of the others like the Nuts Planets bus, which are like 50 odd quid.
Yeah.
I thought if I make a mess of it, it's 14 quid, but you strip it, redo it. It's just more practice because I've never painted anything flesh tones in that sort of size before, so I thought I'd have a go getting some practice on that before I do some of the bigger stuff.
And what are you using for your flesh tones?
At the moment for this one, I'm using the Andrea colour flesh paint set.
Okay.
Which is like a 6 colour set. Yeah, 6 colour set, so you get 2 base colours, 2 light colours, and then 2 shadow colours.
How are you finding them?
I've used Andrea paints before, but not the flesh set, and I really like them. They are nice, give a really nice flat finish, and they brush really, really nice as well. So, interested to see what the flesh ones turn out like there. That's one of my many.
Can't wait to see some pictures.
Yeah, one of my many flesh paint sets I've got. I always try and use a different one every time just to see what they're like, compare them to each other.
Or never get used to anything.
No.
No.
There is that.
Yeah, I recently bought the Scale 75 flesh set.
Yeah.
And they're dead flat.
Yeah, I was going to use those on this, and I thought, no, I'll use the Andrea ones instead. I'll give those a try.
Right.
So I've got the scale colour ones to try out. And I've also got the AK Interactive Figure Series flesh set.
Okay.
Well, because I'm using the AK Interactive World War One British uniforms figure colours for the uniform, I thought I'd use something different for the flesh set so I can see what they're like. And so far they're both really nice to brush paint. Just how
are they for thinning? Are you just thinning with water, or are you using medium?
I'm just using water. The AK ones are very, very thin straight out the bottle, which I tend to forget, and I over-thinned it to start with. because you forget quite how thin they are straight out the actual bottle. The Andre ones are a little thicker, so you do need a little bit more thinning with those. But so I've just used water. That's all I ever use. So.
How's your Millennium Falcon coming along?
It's gathering dust on the top of the shelf above my bench at the moment. I really, really need to get that finished, but it's one of them that's really playing on my mind now. It's causing me more frustration, the fact it's not finished. And I just can't get the motivation to just finish it.
You just sort of got bored of it?
I think it's more the frustration of... There's a few things I look at now, I think, we should have done slightly different. And many times I just wish I felt like, you know what, I wish I could just completely start all over again. Because I've got that experience of doing it, because I've never built anything like that before. Never attempted painting and weathering anything like sci-fi or that size before. So it was kind of a big step to jump into attempting that. So I've learned a lot from it. And also, there's a few things I wish I'd done slightly different now. I'm happy with how it's looking. It's looking really nice. I just need to get over that final hurdle and get it finished.
Yeah, get on it.
Yeah, I really need to. I've got so much going on at the moment. I'm just trying to find time I can sit down and just concentrate and just crack on with it.
No, I understand. I've got 100 projects that I've started, well, some 20 years ago, and some a little bit more recently that are just languishing in boxes and just sort of staring at me, saying, "Come on, pull your finger out." I
think a lot of it as well is the fact that because I'm doing it for the YouTube videos, it's knowing I've got to sit down and actually film what I'm doing. And sometimes that can be a bit putting me off a bit. Because you just don't feel like sitting there talking to a camera, or you just want to relax and chill out and work rather than have to worry about whether the camera's recording, the audio's working.
Yeah. And what your workflow is going to be, and where you're going to cut and where you're going to edit.
Yeah, that's another thing as well, because I'd never done a big build series like that. Didn't have a clue how I wanted the videos to actually be, how much detail I was going to go into, trying to work out, you know, how much people are prepared to watch, and how much they want to see. So it's kind of working all that out as well at the same time, along with the videos. So a lot of the videos I've done slightly different things just to see how they turn out and like feedback. So the whole build series has been a bit all over the place for me. But it's getting there. I just really need to get over that final hurdle, get it finished, and I can get it on display and one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I think with YouTube, you can, if you've got the discipline to go through and just do the one big build step by step, and that's fine. I think that what you've done so far has been brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think if you're finding that as a problem, just finish it. Just stick the camera on and then edit it and do it and just do a voiceover on the end and just cut the highlights. That's
what I've thought about doing with this. Is that's what I've actually been thinking about with build videos in full. Is not worry about explaining the stuff actually on camera. Just build it with the cameras running, edit it, then voiceover afterwards, which would make things a lot easier because you haven't got to worry about talking from what you're trying to build, which can be a bit tricky at times if you're not used to it.
Absolutely,
I think
it's like doing a live video, isn't it? It's like running a live show, but without any interaction from an audience.
Yeah. I think that would be the better way to probably do, is just get the cameras rolling. Don't worry about anything else. Just build and edit it, then voice over. Certainly cut down a lot of the unnecessary waffling you tend to do when you're building on camera.
Yeah, I've found that doing my videos. There's as you can hear, I waffle. So if I'm coming back and editing those videos is just, it's hellish sometimes, because I hate listening to myself at the best of times. But
Yeah.
then, if I'm talking crap at one point and saying something, and I tend to lose things.
Yeah.
As new as this workshop that I built last year is, it's suddenly become really, really messy in here. And I keep losing tools, I keep losing paint bottles, I keep losing God knows what, and even parts of falling on the floor into this, getting stuck in the carpet. I think, in the last podcast I did with Gildy and Jim a couple of weeks ago, I was scratch building I forget what it's called, the thing from Buckaroo Banzai that he has in his car that makes him go through the mountain, and trying to scratch build that for my DeLorean kit for my Ready Player One conversion.
Yeah.
And thankfully it's just a piece of sprue which I was filing down to an approximate shape, and of course it pinged out my hand and God knows where it is. And so that's mid-podcast, so I'm scrambling around on the floor trying to find this thing, and actually I gave up. And so, that happens to me on camera while I'm trying to do either a live show, which, I've only done the one, or doing a live recording of something. And I think that there's a few people that I watch. There's like Brad Hare, BHP 99, who he commission builds, and almost every day he does a little video of what he's done the day before and what he's planning to do. You never actually see him do any work. You just see the interim steps of this is what this is what I want to achieve today. This is where I'm at, because he's basically using these as because they're commissions. He's using them as postcards to his client, saying this is what I've done. And then there's Aztec Dummy, who does usually he'll record every single day, but he'll put a video up, he'll stitch it all together at the end of the week and say this is my week's work. And sometimes you just see him talking to camera, sometimes you see him actually doing stuff, sometimes it's let me put the camera down, I'm just going to go and do this, and then he comes back and he doesn't even edit, he just stitches the files together in one hit. There's so many different ways to attack a build video, and I don't think there's anything there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah, I think it's finding out what way works best for yourself is the way to go forward. Finding out the easiest way for you to actually film it and edit it. It's kind of what I've done with my review videos, like the unboxing videos. I've filmed those in a certain way now that it's easier for me to edit and actually film, because I'm hopeless at talking for long periods of time without messing up what I'm saying. So I always break it down into smaller parts and just film each section in a small part. I can just then clip them all together, cut out any unnecessary bits, and then bang, done. So I think that's what I need to do with it, because I've not done many build videos. It's just trying to find that way I'm most comfortable with doing, because it's something I want to concentrate more on the videos, is actually building models and showing how I do different things rather than just doing review videos, which all I seems to be doing at the moment.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a hobby within a hobby within a hobby, isn't it?
Yeah. I really enjoy it. Even the video editing's I don't mind. It's not something I find a chore to do.
Well, it's good. I mean, you because it's a hobby.
Yeah.
You've got to enjoy it. You've got to find the joy in it, don't you?
Yeah, that's definitely.
And if you're not finding the joy in it, do something else.
Yeah. Because I know that there's quite a few people I know that do YouTube videos, and you can tell when they're not really into doing the video, and it's just if you're not feeling it, just don't bother, because it never turns out well.
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't put one out for a couple of weeks, and that's exactly why.
Yeah.
I haven't found the time to do it, to actually sit down in here and actually paint anything, build anything, or if I have, it's like, do I give a damn about putting the camera up setting up the computer, getting this thing done. No, I just want to get my knife out and start, cutting at this thing.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just need to do that. Don't just forget everything else, chill out, and just build for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I've just had the Easter holidays and kids at home, so I haven't had any time away from them.
Yeah.
Been doing full-on dad duty.
Mine's been the same. I haven't got kids, but the wife is a school teacher, so she's been off for that Easter holidays. So usually when she's off work, time to sit down and model is very limited because she always wants to do other stuff.
Oh
So,
my God, you have to spend time with your wife.
yeah, I know. It's awful. It's awful. No, I haven't done a video myself. I think for about 4 or 5 weeks. I've actually uploaded a couple, but they were filmed about 3 weeks before I actually was allowed to upload them. So I haven't done a video for a while myself.
What about you, Chloe? What are you working on? And are you shooting any videos for YouTube?
No, on the YouTube front, I do not have time for that currently. I'm in the last year doing a degree part-time, so any time I have spare is done finishing all the models that I've been accumulating over the last 10 years. So, yeah, well, maybe next year.
What are you studying?
I'm doing a leadership and management degree. So I'm on the last year, so dissertation and the whole shebang, but I'm a little bit too old for all this crap now, so it's a bit fun working full-time and getting that done as well.
Yeah, my wife did a degree as a mature student, and she was raising her first 2 kids while doing it. She started before she met me, so it was that was a real eye opener for me that somebody was even able to have a life and do a degree.
Kudos to her, because I have no children, so I don't know how I'd manage with that.
Yeah, I barely managed doing my degree at the right time, in inverted commas, the right time. When I was 18, I barely remember that.
Too drunk.
I remember it like it was yesterday, but it's the numbers don't seem right.
Pretend it's yesterday. It's fine.
Yeah, except that I'm there almost every week now. I drive my stepdaughter. She goes to the same college that I went to, and she's going to be 19 in the summer. And I'm there in Canterbury every week, either picking her up so she can come back and do her. She's got a job here, and then her mum drops her back, and she's only in for 3 days a week.
Oh, that sounds like luxury.
It's killing my mileage.
I bet.
But it's weird. You're driving to Canterbury, and it's sort of 20 years later, and here's my kid going and doing on my campus in buildings that I was in, and it's not right, and it's not quite the same as it was. And there's kids walking around everywhere with phones in their hands. And I do the same thing, but it's not right in that context. I don't get it.
Imagine if she bumped into your previous teachers. You used to teach my dad.
Yeah, thankfully most of them have retired or moved on to better jobs.
You're that old?
I'm that old, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's all.
Yeah. No, I'm 40.
That's not old.
But my teachers were... God, they were in their late 30s when they were teaching me, and some of them... my head of music were retired last year. So I think he was probably the oldest, as the head of music. And one of my composition tutors has moved on to... I think he's teaching now at Queen Mary's in London. Got himself a better paid job.
Not as bad at grade that, is it?
No, absolutely. And when I visited the campus, my old music department, the little house that we all studied in is, well, it exists, but I don't think there's any department in there anymore. Everything's changed. It's like you can't go home again. Our old student union, the stage where I learnt sound engineering, that's now a drama department. which is just it's really, it did my head in going in there. It's like I spent every Wednesday and Friday night in here getting completely off my face. And now there are people sort of holding skulls and shouting about Yorick, or whatever, drama kids do these days. And it's
Standard Shakespeare.
Standard Shakespeare, yeah.
Always standard Shakespeare.
Yeah. And the stage is still there, but the context is wrong. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like getting old. Don't do it.
Don't like change.
Never grow up. That's the good method.
Yeah, apparently we all have to get old, but we don't have to grow up.
Yeah.
That's true. It's worked for me so far. I'm doing all right. So
Well, good.
don't grow up. But yeah, as far as what I'm working on, so I told you guys about my Imperial Guard a few weeks ago, and I've been putting it all over my Instagram. So I've had these guys for it's about 1,200 points worth of army for about 6 years, and I'm not even one. I'm half a model away from finishing it. So I've vowed to myself that I have to finish this lot until I can buy anything else for it. So it's a good feeling, actually. I'm just redoing some of the bases because I decided for some reason to change them halfway through, and I didn't realise until I just got them all out now. And half of them are different to the other half, which is really annoying me.
Oh no!
So yeah, I've repainted, rebasing the old ones basically to bring them all back up to the same look.
Right.
And then I've got half of Commissar Yarick to finish, but I've got to find his sword because it's gone bye-bye somewhere. So hopefully I can find that. I've got loads of missing model parts because things keep falling off shelves and breaking themselves and just going bye-bye, which is really annoying. But it's a good feeling to nearly get it done, so that's good.
A half a model to go, and you could,
Half a model.
if you had the sword, you could finish that tonight.
Yeah, and this is just Imperial Guard. I've got a hell of a lot more sitting in my painting case that needs doing at the minute.
Right.
That I've had.
Well, that's very
Some
disciplined of
busts
you.
and things.
That's a discipline I don't think I will ever have.
Nope, not me.
I've been mugging it off for 5 years, so I figured this year is my aim is to basically finish all the models that I've already got without trying to buy any more, which is really hard because there's so many shiny things out there. But I've probably got 3,000 points of Space Marines, half a model of these guys, and then about 6 or 7 Knights models. So I've got quite a lot of 70mm to do, and also they take a bit longer because they're all display pieces. So I'm saving them for when I have a bit more time.
Yeah.
But these are all tabletop. Because me and my other half play, so I'm just trying to get them done so we can actually play with them and use them what they're meant for. And they look kind of cool at the same time, so that would be pretty good to get them finished.
Now, what's your version of tabletop?
Just playing 40k, basically.
No, I mean in terms of quality.
Oh, probably a bit higher than most.
Yeah, I know my
OCD.
idea of what I want to see on the table is it's less than display, but it's more than just 3 colours, right?
Oh yeah, it's about characters probably a good 7 or 8 hours painting, and squads a few hours per model for an infantry squad. So they're not exactly your basic, just legal enough to play with. They're detailed, but they're not too detailed that I don't want to play with them because I'll get damaged, if you get me.
Right.
So I think they'll look pretty, but at the same time they're playable.
Good. Yeah, well, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Do you batch?
Only with squads. So I did a squad of shock marines. So certain parts of it I do. So I've got my colour scheme. So my colour scheme for my Imperial Guard is like a sandy colour, sandy camouflage.
Right.
So I put the light and the uniform, so the actual fabric. I do all that in one go. Do the armour in one go for the base colours. Get all the base colours down. Then I'll do a couple of wash layers. Then I'll go back over it with a thinned out glazed version of the base colours, and then build it up there for highlights. So I try and batch it as much as possible, but when it comes to blending and things, obviously it's time related because you don't want it to dry out too quick. So get most of it done.
And you're blending on your rank and file.
Yeah.
Good. Nice.
Yeah, try to, and then a little bit of spot highlighting as well. playing around with them. But they look pretty cool, but they're not like display quality, I don't think.
You see, I don't know if what is display quality. If you're happy with to look at them, stick them up and look at them. You know.
I display them at home, no problem. I'm
That's-
pretty proud of them, but I mean, I wouldn't put them in like Warhammer World, you know, or send them in for a Golden Demon because they're not that good. But
Do you
They're
know
happy-
some of the
they look
things I've
nice.
seen in Golden Demon that have been submitted, and I don't think they're all done on a bet.
just for fun.
Just for fun, yeah. I mean, the two times I've entered, I thought I was the shit, and this is a good few years ago, and I certainly wasn't. There was stuff there that wasn't as good as the stuff that I was putting in, and people were happy enough to submit. And if it's display, you know, it's, how can I say it without sounding up my own arse?
People put shit in because they think they're better than they are.
People put shit in because they're better than they are, but people should put shit into a competition just because they're happy that they've finished it. I think.
Like, if you've been proud of it, then that's. I mean, no one can tell you otherwise. If you're proud of your model, then
I mean,
go for it. You know?
You're not going to.
You'll get
if you make the cut, then amazing. If you don't, then you've
You'll
actually.
get a finalist badge, or you.
Yeah.
So. I've got a finalist badge and an entering badge, and they weren't the best. They were from 2010, so that was when I was the second time I was getting back into it. This is the third time now.
Right.
I have a habit of stopping and starting, but yeah, there's nowhere near as good as some of the people in there. But there were some hilarious ones like Invisible Space Marines and all sorts of things. Like, a nice one.
Yeah. What, you
can't
mean just a
submit
base?
Scenery. It was a base, a
Yeah.
really good base, but a base. I was like, great. And another one just had a floating rifle on it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know why they did that. Judges said no, so
Yeah.
see what happened.
I mean, the first year I went, I think it was 2011, and my now 17, he's nearly 18, stepson, we went to the Croydon store and we got the bus en masse. Had the coach journey up from the Croydon store, and so we turned up early in the morning for Games Day at the shop, and they had a whole load. This is when Games Day was good. They had a load of fun stuff to do before we got on the coach, and one of them was a speed painting competition. The guy who won it basically dry brushed a marine gold. We had 20 minutes to paint a standard fifth edition Space Marine, and I didn't know anything about speed painting at the time, and I was trying to carefully line it and wash it, and of course, 2 hours later it still wouldn't have been dry. And this guy just quickly dry brushed some gold on his Marine, and they said, right, you win. That's great. You get to enter that in Golden Demon. So he had to go and enter it and get his entry badge, and it was up there all morning until it didn't make the cut, and then he quickly took it down.
Do you think that's like the GW staff though being hilarious?
I mean, forced fun is sometimes the best fun.
Because that'd be top banter if they were just bored all day at Warhammer World and Games Day, and they're just like, yeah, if you just want to enter that into the competition, secretly laughing to themselves.
I think they were having a great time about it. I mean, this is... Go on.
I was just going to say, I think if I was going to enter anything into Golden Demon, I know that I wouldn't win anything or get anywhere close, because the phrase of a turd rolled in glitter is still a turd. Well, with me, it would be the model as a glitter, and then I'd put turd on top of it. So it would be kind of the opposite way around. But I'd literally go just so I could speak to other painters, and it would be a way to kind of like angle my way in just to speak to them, and get in there and just go, oh, how do you do this? How could you do that? Blah, 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 blah. So I don't know whether people would do that, but yeah, I'd have no expectations of my turd winning anything.
Just if they felt sorry for you, they could give you some really good advice, and you could just blag it that way and become best friends with them.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, isn't it? It's like networking within within the geeks.
Absolutely.
You need geeky LinkedIn. That's what we need.
Yeah.
It's called Twitter.
I've got no time for that.
Well, no, you're on Instagram, aren't you?
Yeah. Pictures. I like pictures.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm on both, but I don't have time to keep my Instagram going as regularly as I should. Because again, that's a hobby within a hobby within a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, I talk too much shit, so Twitter's no good for me with a character limit.
280 characters now.
Still not enough.
and they've done this thing now. They've calling threads, so you can just roll on your thoughts onto the next tweet, onto the next tweet, onto the next tweet, and it doesn't get lost in somebody's timeline.
Oh God.
I know, dangerous stuff.
This Donald Trump can go on for like 7 hours now. Then.
Like, Twitter is just literally a cesspool. It doesn't matter what you're into, whether it's like football or modelling or anything. It's just a cesspool. No matter what happens, someone's going to talk shit to you about something. That's why I'm on there. It's fun.
Yeah, I've never had any sort of negativity. I mean, there's a lot of my feed has suddenly gone political. Funny that.
Yeah.
It's fake news.
And it's either Trump stuff or Brexit stuff, and every now and then I see some models in between.
It's the Russians, I'm telling you. That's what they'll say.
Yeah, they've invading the Twitter now as well. All the Russian bots. They're polluting my personal timeline just to.
It's fake news everywhere.
But I've never had any sort of negativity of people trolling me or any sort of shitty cyberbullying type stuff or anything like that. I mean, I've seen a few arguments here and there, but I've never experienced it firsthand. And I mean, I'm not asking for it.
Yeah, this is an open opportunity now, guys. To
yes, please. Yeah, at Mini Model Paint, come and throw shit at me. It's,
come at me, bro.
I can easily get
better.
mute.
I'll block you.
No, I don't want to block people. I need the followers. I want to keep my numbers up. I'll just mute them.
Is that what it's all about?
Apparently, it's the 21st century, and fear of missing out, and all the other YOLO, FOMO, and all the other bullshit that I'm pretending that I understand. And having
no idea what
more
FOMO is.
numbers and traffic on a thing that doesn't actually mean anything at all.
Yeah, it's all about your online influence these days.
I don't know how people
Half
actually
the
think
time I
it
just
means
post stuff to
anything.
wind people up.
I mean, Simon, you are an influencer.
Yeah, I can't deny that I'm not.
Yeah,
Not-
I mean, you have the right number of followers on YouTube. You haven't had your monetization kicked
Nope.
by YouTube. Nope, you're still making 30p a month
Yeah.
out of all the advertising. You're living the dream.
Yeah. I sit back and relax off the ad revenue from YouTube. Says no one ever.
It's almost as good as your state pension.
Yeah, that'll be non-existent by the time we get to that age.
You'll need your YouTube revenue by then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Of course, Scale Model Jedi, by that point, it'll be a picture of you sitting cross-legged on a rock looking at the sunset.
Yeah, I'm under no illusions that I'm ever going to make a living off YouTube.
I think I was for about a month, and I thought, if I really, really work hard at this, somebody's going to give a shit.
Yeah. Oh, I've got stuff given to me.
And I quickly found that nobody did.
Yeah, I've got a few things.
Sorry.
So I've got a few freebies, but nothing amazing at the moment.
It's not paying your mortgage. Nobody's giving you a house or a Ferrari to play with.
That's where I'm fortunate. I don't have a mortgage to worry about. One of the reasons I can sit and do YouTube videos as often as I do.
Well, lucky you.
Well, not lucky by the way how I've come to have no mortgage.
No. I don't think I'd want to go through what you went through.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to go through that again. And I'm still suffering from the effects of that, which I will for the rest of my life. So, well, at least my life can be a little bit easier financially. In a way. Apart from the fact I keep spending more than I'm actually bringing in at the moment.
Well, isn't that everybody though?
Yeah.
Yay, debt.
Yay, debt.
Who hasn't got a credit card?
I don't have one that I'm allowed to use. I mean, I have lots and lots of credit cards, and I think I used them a little bit too much a few years ago, and now people don't like me using them. So, but hey, it paid for all of my stash.
I've just found Commissar Yarek's sword. This is good.
You found Yarek's sword. You're on a roll today. I mean, you found Cap's shield.
Well, yeah, Rianne did, but
Yeah.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been found, and you found Yarek's sword, so you can pretty much throw it all up in the air and say it's all done now.
Pretty much. I just got to paint it first, and we are good.
Consider it done.
Nearly there.
So what, let's project, you finished Yarek, you finished your 7 Night models and your 3,000 points of Space Marines. And you're all
the year
done.
Is 2022.
And world hunger and poverty have been eliminated. And you finished all of the painting backlog that you got. What's next on your buying list?
Right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get my basket up on a website that I use. Not that I have lists of anything that I want saved or anything like that. But yeah, we're looking at finishing off the Space Marine. So I've made my own chapter up.
Okay.
That's how I roll. And yeah, so there's a few little bits I need to finish that off. So, more tanks, maybe. Contempt of Dread. A couple more main characters, so like librarians, stuff like that. Maybe a couple of the newer squads that I haven't got yet, like the new releases, like the Reavers and things. I thought they were pretty cool.
So you haven't got any of the Primaris?
What's they called? The guys with the jump packs. Remember the name of
Assault Marines?
Inceptors, maybe? Interceptors?
Oh, those ones, the new ones.
And Primaris, aggressors. Yeah, there's aggressors and interceptors, isn't there? So I've got interceptors. I'm going to get some aggressors. So they're pretty cool, and some big guns on them. As far as more Imperial Guard, I want to get some big armour. So I've got no tanks for them at the minute, and obviously they run off tanks, so some big tanks for them, some Valkyries, they would look pretty cool. It's just storage at the moment, so I can't really put them anywhere.
So you're not going to go for Forge World and get yourself a Thunderhawk?
I've got some Forge World for my Space Marines. I'm going to get the basic stuff for my Imperial Guard, I think.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I'm going to play them that much, so I don't want to. I might invest a little bit, get some little armour compared to the Forge World stuff, and a couple of Valkyries and that, and then
Yeah, the Valkyries are cool.
look at getting it later. They look really badass, I think.
They do, yeah. I think I like the Valkyries as a flyer more than I do any of the Space Marine flyers.
And I really want to paint some cool designs on the wings. I think they look pretty badass. You can do quite a lot with them as far as painting goes. So you can get some cool, like old, like the old tank art from from the 40s,
Oh yeah.
and like Vietnam style aircraft art and stuff on there. It'd be pretty awesome.
Some nose stuff going on, some pin-ups.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'd be pretty cool. There's a few busts I want to get as well. I've got a Royal Tank Regiment bust that I've done, and I want to do a few more of those because I think they look really smart. Look at getting to them as well. But this is all after I finish everything else.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, yes, I want this, this, and this, but I don't know how long it's going to take me. Hopefully not too long, but maybe mid next year I'll have it all finished. Which will be quite fast if I can get that done.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I've got boxes and boxes of things. I mean, I don't. I've got so much 40k, and I don't play. And I got back into it. I got into it at uni, fell out of it, and got back into it when my stepson discovered he wanted to be in. Looking at little, inch tall models, and I thought, this is dangerous because it's going to get me hooked right back in. I'm going to spend all my money on this again, and it did. And I keep buying this shit. I keep buying it. I keep painting it. I keep putting it in a box and leaving it because I don't have anybody to play with. He doesn't play anymore. He's not interested in it anymore because he's got better things to do with his life. He might come back to it when he's discovered that chasing girls is not an important thing full time, or studying for A levels or degrees or whatever is our other priority. He may decide to get back into that or find something else. I, on the other hand, will still have boxes and boxes and boxes of unpainted shit.
I've had many breaks from this, but I mean, I've always painted, but playing wise, I only really played when I was a kid. But now I've got back into it. We went into Games Workshop a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago actually, and just to do like a little trial game. They do them in stores, and I got my ass kicked, so that gave us a bit of an oomph to buy the box set, the new box set.
Right.
And I'm painting Death Guard and Space Marines since then, so it's quite cool because we can play it, which gives me more of a kind of push to finish stuff so I can play with them.
Nice.
Which is quite good.
Did you get the full box set or the or the not the starter the medium one?
It was Dark Imperium, so
Oh, it's Dark Imperium. Okay.
Yeah, so actually I was really impressed with what you got in there.
There's a hell of a lot in there.
They never used to be that good.
No.
Yeah, it's fantastic. They never used to be that good at all. They used to be really crap, and they used to all be them click together, the really crap push together models.
Yeah.
I was actually really surprised when it was full, detailed sprues. And the moulding is fantastic now. They've really upped the game with it.
It's absolutely beautiful. When I left my job last summer, my leaving due, they had a whip round and they gave me a Games Workshop voucher with the card says, "Here is a nerd voucher because you are a nerd."
Standard.
Yeah, thank you. And it was quite nice. They whipped round and got me 60 quid's worth of GW vouchers. So
Decent.
that was pretty damn decent. So yeah, I picked up some Hobbit Finecast. Because Hobbit, not because Finecast. And the what's it called? Where have I hit it? No Fear, the middle box set. So not the full Dark Imperium.
Yeah.
And that's Space Marines and Death Guard, and I've just started putting the Death Guard bits together.
They're really cool.
They're brilliant.
I've been helping Rianne paint hers for a while now, and they're just fantastic models, and they're really varied as well. Poxwalkers get a bit annoying after a while, but the detail on them is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm painting these. I'm trying to figure out to like Simon was saying, trying to figure out how I want to do this because I want to get them on video, and I'm trying to set up the sub-assemblies so I can do a tabletop plus and better than tabletop, not quite display, but better than tournament level or whatever. in terms of quality, how much time you want to do and how much, what kind of effort you need to put into to making it look good from 3 feet away or good from 3 inches away. And that's, I've got them sitting on a turntable at the end of my desk, just staring at me saying, you really need to make this video and you need to get on it.
I just remembered I've got the dwarf barrels to do as well.
Yeah, the dwarf barrels. Yeah, I've got that set.
Yeah.
Still in its
I've got
box.
a bottle of still water that I've had for like 3 years in my cupboard that I need to use. Haven't got around to doing.
They're
Another
gorgeous.
one
They're
after this.
absolutely stunning little casts, those dwarfs.
They're a really good set. I really wanted to do a really quite small, but I think I said to you guys before, like dynamic kind of piece with it. Lots of more of this time where it's like proper whitewater rafty style in the film. But I need to watch the scene a few times to figure out what's a good screen capture to get. Mix it up a bit.
Yeah, from memory, there's not a lot where they're all in the same shot.
No. But you could probably, if you got a few different screen captures, you could probably put it all together and kind of wing it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I said to you on chat a few weeks ago, obviously people listening and don't know this, but that I remember this White Dwarf issue where they had a really dynamic shot, and it's vivid in my mind that is this sort of whitewater rafty kind of shot of them all in the same on the river with big waves and splashes and foliage everywhere, and it looks the depth of field was great in the photograph, and they all look like they're being washed downstream. And then I found an issue of it, and it's the most boring flat water with these dwarves sitting on it, and I thought it's really, really uninspiring. I think I sent you a copy of the picture.
Yeah.
And it's really not as... If that's what I remember, I seem to have translated it in my mind as something that's way better than it really was. Or I've thrown away the magazine that I thought I'd kept.
I can recreate a more dynamic, better version, hopefully. See what happens.
Yeah, please do.
I might try and do that one next after I've done these guys. Or start it at least and get something out. So I'm not sure how long still water takes to set. Probably quite a while. So
It does. You've got to do it thin layers.
So I'll probably maybe start building that up and doing it in between other things.
Yeah, and what you don't want to do is waste your still water if you're doing a downstream and uphill kind of on a. You want to build your background out of other things.
Yeah, I've got lots of milliput.
Polystyrene, balsa wood, milliput. God knows, whatever you've got in your backyard, just shove it in there and cover it over with something else. I mean, I made the mistake years ago of trying to make a deep water thing out of still water.
Ages.
It took a month for it to dry, and it was only like 2 inches deep. It
Yeah,
would
not do that then.
beginner's mistake, It's. And then, of course, you look at how other people do stuff, and you look at people like Luke's APS, and you see that actually there's bugger all water in there when you do it. It's all plaster underneath and a bit of paint, and then a very thin layer of water, and then stuff like bicarbonate of soda to make waves.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, there's loads of other bicarb and other. Some people use finely ground glass, which I wouldn't.
Sounds dangerous.
It sounds really dangerous, but it gives you a really nice fine texture for certain watery effects.
I'll probably get some pretty cool stuff from work I can use.
Cool. Can I hear an airbrush going on in the background? Anyone?
That's not me.
No, not me.
No.
You probably hear me coughing everywhere, but no airbrush.
Oh. I thought somebody was getting their hobby on proper, good and proper in there. But no, it's just you dying quietly in the corner.
Yeah, it's my throat infection kicking. I had to walk away because I was going to basically swallow my microphone from coughing.
Don't do that. You only just got it.
I know, it's nice and shiny.
So what mic are you using, Ian?
It's a Rode Podcaster.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, so the one that I was using when we had a conversation a couple of months ago was my dictaphone, which is
yeah.
But the problem is it basically picks up all the noises because it's omnidirectional. It's meant to pick up when you're talking to people. And the house we've moved to has got a French window, so we're single glazed, and it feels like I'm actually sitting in the road at times. So I got the podcaster because it stops a lot of the noise, unless a fire engine goes past, which you might hear at some point because it's a Saturday night, and we're about 100 metres away from the station. So
that was
a disco noise.
What was that? Did you realise you were next to a fire station when you moved in?
Yeah, we knew, but they're meant to not actually use them in the evenings, but I don't think they care. I think they just go woo, 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 woo. It's fun.
I think it's after 11 p.m. There are no sirens. I think 11 p.m. till 7 a.m. in the morning, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when you're not allowed to honk your horn.
Yeah,
you tell that them.
yeah.
Because when we first moved in, a week after we moved in, my wife put my son in our bedroom in a portable cot while he went to sleep during the afternoon, and she went up about 2 hours later when she heard him making a noise, and she couldn't get in the room because the latch wouldn't unlatch, and I was at work and I'm about an hour away. So after half an hour of taking the door handle off and not being able to get it, she actually phoned the fire service to come and get him out. And even though they knew exactly that they're coming 50 metres, they still put the sirens on.
They could have just walked across the road, right?
Yeah. They literally could have walked across the road, but they came, from what my wife was saying, with the blues and twos going, the sirens going, and all suited and booted.
Yeah.
Someone's just passed their test.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, she said that they weren't meant to do it, but the driver had literally just passed his test, so they said that he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good fun.
He's sitting in the front, well excited, like, yes.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
First time. Can I do it? I know we're literally going 20 doors down, but can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Yeah. Okay.
Please, 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 please.
Oh, go on then.
Probably put his foot down as well. Like a boy racing, like, here.
Yeah, we got there in twice the time.
Yeah, I bet actually inside they've probably got Fireman Sam going.
Probably.
I remember in an old flat in my 20s, I lived for a while up in Canary Wharf, and the lift broke down with just me in it, and so obviously I hit the button and got through to whatever service is running the lifts, and it wasn't the porter of the building. It was some management office, God knows where. And 20 minutes later, I get a bang on the lift door, and I get rescued by 3 firemen. If I had been that way inclined, I would have been really excited. I actually was bursting for the loo at that point, but the things you remember. I got rescued from a lift by firemen once, and so I have that in common with your kid.
The thing is, I bet it's got to be an anticlimax, isn't it, for when firemen come out, because you get all these images of these like Chippendales type figures with like baby oil on, and then when they actually turn up, it's like an overweight 40-year-old man that lives in the street.
Is that the impression you have when somebody says fireman is oiled up Chippendales?
that's all I ever see. You know, you look on TV, they've got firemen. You know, they're like bench pressing the actual vehicles into the garage and stuff like that, and then they turn up and they're just like fat middle-aged old men.
Honestly, I think it was probably more of an anticlimax for them. They open this lift door and there's me sitting in there going, "Yeah, hey lads,"
just rocking in the corner. Get me out! Get me out! Get
I
me out!
expected some hot chick like, "Oh, I'm so grateful that you rescued me," and you're there like, "Oh hi, I need a wee."
Yes, it was like, "Thank you, get the fuck out of my way. I really need to go." But thanks for coming, guys. Yeah, we had. I remember we had a few call-outs at uni just in halls because people would burn the toast or burn a sausage or something, and the smoke alarm would go off, and it was what, 200 quid, 500 quid for a call-out. But it would cost the taxpayer, and so we got a ban within about a month for cooking sausages.
Because they actually charge you now, don't they? If you
they
call them out and
threatened to start charging, yeah.
Yeah, because when they came out to my wife, they said, "Don't worry, we're not going to charge you because it's a baby." Whereas if it had been me stuck in there, they would have charged us.
Really?
Yeah, they do charge you now if you call them and it's not a legitimate, what they would class as a 99 call.
Well,
I'd say that was pretty important. Like, what they expect you to do, climb out the window.
Yeah. Well, I guess they should probably assuming, you know, if it was a full-grown adult, then you're probably not going to die from being locked in a room for an hour or so while you get a locksmith. But
if they're not busy and there's no emergency calls on, then obviously they prioritise. And if something else came in where there was an actual building on fire, that would make sense to go to first. But
yeah.
I don't see why they would fine you if if they didn't come to you first.
I mean, it definitely is an emergency if a baby's locked in a room. But yeah, I suppose if you're a grown man with the ability to kick a door down or climb out a window or whatever, then yeah, I suppose that's probably not as emergent a situation as a helpless wee bairn.
The thing that I found interesting was that they actually charge like the police if the police call them out and it's not a legitimate fire service call.
Really?
Wasting other time.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think, well, at the end of the day, it's like a public service. It's paid for by the government on both ends, but they charge each other for for wasted calls.
Oh my God! Can you imagine the accountants of trying to figure out this one piece of money that comes in from government coffers that's been paid in a penny per head across a year from everybody in the country. And then that then goes to the fire service, which then goes to the police and goes back to the fire service, over to the ambulances, and then it actually never gets spent.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting transferred in a sort of VAT kind of way.
Sounds
no wonder we have no idea what's going on.
Anyway, you should probably get back to modelling.
Well, what, plastic models, or are you still thinking of ripped Chippendales?
No, that phase is gone now.
Okay.
I'm done with that.
Yeah.
He's always thinking of it.
Yeah.
Poor old Ian. I think that Ian is going to be the butt of our jokes tonight.
Possibly.
And every night.
At least he can reply now.
Yeah,
well,
I
yeah,
reply,
yeah. So obviously, people listening don't know this, but we started half an hour late because Ian couldn't set up his PC.
I could set up my PC. It's just that Windows 10 is shit.
Blaming his tools.
And
now.
Skype is shit as well.
Oh, you'd expect Skype, being a Microsoft product, to work fine under Microsoft Windows, wouldn't you?
You would.
No.
It works on my Mac
I
perfectly
wouldn't.
well.
No.
Well, I know
It's
it's
Microsoft.
which is why I have a light up fruit on the back of my laptop.
Ironically, I have a Mac too and an iPhone, which work perfectly fine with Skype.
Yeah, same here. It's funny. Larry always takes the piss out of me because I'm a Mac man through and through, and he's Windows and he's Android, and nothing evil and Apple should ever touch any part of him.
He's correct.
Which is why if I ever go over there, I'm going to sticker bomb his vehicle with apples.
Nice. I mean, I've got a collection of Apple stickers from that I've been collecting since the late 80s. So every time I've had a new Mac or a new phone that comes with the Apple stickers, I've still got the old rainbow Apple ones.
Oh, we need to do this. This would be hilarious.
Yeah, I must have a good 50, 60 stickers just from shit that I've bought.
Yeah, I got about 15 or so. We can cover quite a lot of his car, I think.
He would love that.
Yeah, he would.
All right, so next year, let's make plans to we'll do Adepticon or Gen Con or something that he's going to go to, and rather than post-it noting his car, we'll Apple sticker it.
Applegate.
Yes. Applegate.
Applegate, yep. Can you imagine the rage that will come out of him for that?
He'd probably
Just make sure we're on
contact
flight home
Apple
before he
customer
realises.
service and complain to them.
Yeah.
Yes, dear Apple, my car has been stickered completely with an entire history of your logo. How do I remove them?
We'll spray some varnish over the top of them as well, just to really seal them in, you know.
There you go. You've brought it back to the hobby.
Nailed
Brilliant. It's so if you've put your decals down or your I hate that word. I can't pronounce it. We say decals. They say decals.
Yeah, decals, decals.
Water slide transfers.
What?
I feel
What does he really hate?
Non-sticky stickers.
non-sticky stickers, yeah. And then of course throw some microsol over the top of that, and then spray them with gloss varnish just to make them really, really set down.
Yep.
Can you imagine that? Taking a bottle of Future and just coating his car in it.
That's a bit evil.
Can we remember it as
Assuming that Larry actually listens to this, I'm going to get a very angry phone call Monday night.
Can you record it for us? He'll no doubt message me later. Why would you suggest these ideas?
How dare he think? Well, I've got some Android badges. We can maybe stick an Android on there as well. But I like it. It gives us a reason to go and meet the big man himself.
It's the only reason. Like, I'm just going to stick a bomb in your car. But nice to meet you.
Well, it seems that Larry met Jim for the first time ever at Adepticon. Just gone. They've been talking. They've been podcast mates for God knows how long. But they've never actually met in person.
Happens a lot.
Until,
Yeah,
what,
pretty
3-4
big
weeks
as
ago?
well, so
I keep forgetting how big it is.
it's humongous.
I mean, I think you and I live probably 2 hours from each other. And then Simon, you're up in Birmingham somewhere.
Well, Worcestershire, so North Worcestershire.
You're Worcestershire.
Yeah, but pretty much close to Birmingham, so still probably a couple of hours. Isn't it?
Yeah, and Ian, you're in. I keep forgetting where you are.
Shropshire, the Shire.
You're Shropshire. Okay, so I'm the most east, and everybody else sort of keeps going west, almost in a light straight line.
Yeah, I'm so far west in England, a lot of people tell me I'm Welsh.
Wow. But none of us are more than 3 or 4 hours from each other.
No, we could all meet up easily.
Yeah.
About the same size as a county in one of the US states.
Yeah.
But with
And,
our roads and public transport, they could probably meet up quicker than we could.
Yeah, it take about 6 hours to actually get to anywhere.
But yeah, we've got 4 people here, 4 different cities, 1 time zone.
Yeah.
I like this 1 time zone thing. I don't know how they cope. They're a country that has
It means we don't have to
three
get
or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 different time zones across. I think it's about 5, isn't
I
it?
mean,
They've got.
Is it?
I'm trying to think. They've got the Eastern
Standard.
the Central, the Mountain.
Pacific.
Is it 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's at least
Yeah.
4. And then you. Yeah.
Well, once upon a time, we did have. Well, Bristol was 45 minutes behind London. Until they.
Really?
Yeah, there used to be a time difference of 45 minutes between Bristol and London.
It's because Bristol are really laid back and chill. So.
I didn't know that.
Long before I ever remember they changed it. I remember somebody telling me about it years ago.
45 minutes?
Yep. I presume Ireland must have been the same, like Northern Ireland and Ireland must have been the same. Maybe an hour difference. I don't know if they're pretty much the same as us now, aren't they? As well.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they?
I think Northern Ireland
Yeah,
are.
I think so.
Well, I can't imagine just because there's some sort of random border put there by politics where they change the time zone.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't get my head around that. That Bristol, it's a 3.5 hour drive from me. I was in Bristol a couple of months ago, and you get up in the morning, you get there in the morning, and how can that possibly be in a different time zone?
Yeah.
We'll all have to have sort of dynamically changing watches or something, so every time we move 1 degree west, that it just automatically changes, and TV schedules and radio schedules all work the same. And you're in Zulu plus plus 0.45.
So strange.
Yeah, that can't possibly work in modern society.
No.
I mean, how would anybody know to go onto your live stream? You say, I'm going on at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock in London time.
Yeah. Figure it out yourself, whatever that means for your own little village. Then come and join me if you've got an internet connection. Because I guess if we end up changing time zones to portions of an hour, then we're going to be at a point where there is no internet anymore.
Would your phones just automatically change?
Sorry, say that again.
I said, wouldn't your phones just automatically change if you got a location on? Because it would automatically work out where you are. Or might just be too logical.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should do.
And then, and when it does, you'd get that message: "Welcome to Vodafone.
You're in Bristol.
You're in Bristol now."
phone.
It's,
Yeah. Roaming charges
you
apply.
automatically updated.
Welcome to Vodafone Bristol.
God, we've moved heavily off track.
Yeah, we started on
Proper
models,
tangent.
and then it turned into firemen, then fire engines, and
You're still there, Ian.
Bristol.
You're still in the fire engines and firemen, but
You're still thinking of the Chippendales, that's what it is.
yeah, yeah.
so I came across a fun little Kickstarter. Talking of nothing, apropos of nothing at all, except that it's tanks. Have you all had I sent a link through to you all earlier. Have you all had a look?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I twitched as soon as I started reading it, just because there's on the first line there's 2 N's in tanks, and it really irks me.
I never noticed that.
It's like Tanuks. Heresy Tanuks.
Yes, there is a double N. Yeah. So this is the Heresy Lab Sci-Fi 3D printable Heresy tanks. It's on Kickstarter. There are 10 more days. as of this recording, to go, and they are based in Italy. So they're Italian. I'll let them off for having a double N in there. Just, they double hit and didn't notice. So it's the Heresy Tanks 1.0, the first line of tanks created by Heresy Lab. This will be only STL printable files. So if you've got a 3D printer, you can print your own tanks. That's pretty cool.
They are really nice designs.
There's some really nice designs. I think there's a print off certain parts. I think you can interchange parts from. I don't know if that is actually how it is, but that's what I got from reading it.
Okay.
So you can kind of mix and match different parts.
I like the scenery as well. I'm a proper sucker for scenery.
Yeah.
The terrain pack that you get with it for free, which is really good. That would save a lot of money, really, when you look at other kits out there.
Does it say what scale it is?
28 mil.
28. Because I'm assuming that they've got obviously inspiration from 40k.
It looks like it.
Are they 28 mil? I thought. Sorry, I thought I read they were 28 mil, but I can't see it now.
No.
It doesn't say.
It's okay, I can cut this little bit out while we're
Tumbleweeding.
tumbleweeding. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can't see.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones was 28 mil. I can't remember that.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
It doesn't actually say.
Oh, cement blocks, containers, a forklift.
I like the forklift, that's cool.
That's awesome, yeah. And pallets, pipe stacks. I mean, these are great. Sci-fi crates. Yeah, there's some really good files in here.
The biohazard barriers are pretty awesome as well.
I mean, it's almost
Death
enough
Star
for me to want to go out and get a 3D printer. 'Cause actually, those have come down in price a lot.
Yeah, they are becoming a lot more affordable for a relatively decent one.
We could get a Models Workshop UK one and then just print off all these cool Kickstarters that keep coming out. then review them.
And print them, review them, and then sell them on Etsy.
Yeah. Pro-painted brackets. Yeah.
Well, I'll send them over to Ian. He can slap some emulsion on them and call them pro-painted. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll dip
Roll
them.
in dirt, yeah.
Emulsion dip.
Dip it, shake it, dry it, post it. Yeah.
I don't know. I've no idea of 3D printing myself. Not something I've ever dabbled in. But is it? Would they files be changeable the size you print them off? So you could print them off to different scales, or would they be a set scale?
No, I think you set the scale. Now that you've brought that up, you tell it however big you want it. The STL file that you're buying here, whatever the reader is that's driving your thing, you tell it how big you want it.
So
That would be cool.
yeah, you're probably only limited then on the size of what your printer can cope with.
And how much plastic spool you've got.
Yeah.
It'd be good if you had quite a big printer though, because you could do like Forge World size tanks, which would work quite well, or extra turrets for other tanks that are already a bigger scale.
But I mean, these things aren't. It's not going to print a tank. It's going to print parts to build a tank, isn't it?
Yeah. But you could build like an alternate turret for another tank that you already have.
Of course,
Same
yeah.
scale.
Yeah, sure.
So you can fit that on. So there's one about halfway down the page with like, there's like 2 barrel guns on the front. It's pretty badass. That'll look a lot better on some of the tanks that I've already got. A bit different.
Is that turret 2?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, well, and that's been unlocked by the looks of things. So these guys wanted €500 to go to fund, and they're on 1,500, so they're easily funded. They've got nearly 40 backers, and by the time this goes out, there'll be a week left. So if you've got a 3D printer, and you like the look of these things, have a look on Kickstarter. Heresy Lab, sci-fi 3D printable Heresy tanks. I rather like these.
Yeah, I do.
And there's no shipping. There's no worrying about shipping. It's just a digital file. And so $200 will get you the whole lot.
It's pretty low risk as far as Kickstarters go with digital files, compared to having to wait like a year for them to make it and send it to you, or worry that it's not going to turn up as it's advertised or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, estimated delivery, May. That's in 2 weeks.
Done.
Yeah. These are all ready to go. You buy this stuff and we will email you a link. That I like. Yeah. I'll sell one of my kids and buy a 3D printer.
I've just noticed they've got like a little palletizer truck thing. So you can print mini pallets and then print a mini palletizer to go with it and drag them around.
Brilliant.
They've really gone to detail on these. It's great.
I mean, considering these are sci-fi tanks and sci-fi things, they've thought really long and hard about the logistics requirements.
Yeah, they're fully prepped to move everything.
We've got here 5 oil barrels and 3 wire spools. So you can print yourself a giant bobbin of wire. Because who doesn't need a giant bobbin of wire to sit next to an oil drum? And cement, tank traps, which are pretty cool.
They've even got a pallet truck. Just in case you didn't want to use an electronic one and you wanted, a bit of workout, you could use a pallet truck.
It's a shame some of the unlock goals they're not going to meet these. I mean, they're at 1,500, which means they've unlocked the Poseidon tank, which looks a bit steampunk. They might just unlock the next turret, and maybe the €2,000, the Zeus, I think. But I don't think they're going to go. I mean, where is it? The €4,000. The turret 5 looks pretty awesome. It's got 4. They look like little ICBMs. And they're quite badass. And then the Artemis tank underneath that at 4.25. That looks great. I like that little.
A mixture of a tank and an APC. It's
yeah.
Cool.
And underneath that is something that looks actually just like a Land Raider.
With the four-jaw cannon on the front. I've got one of them already, I think.
Right.
It looks really similar, but big guns, always good.
Big guns are always good. Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see if how far they get with that. So yeah, if anybody listening is interested in printing their own tanks or pallets or palletizers, then have a look at the Heresy Tanks 1.0 Kickstarter. Now, I'm not going to be backing it because I have no money.
Or a 3D printer.
Or a 3D printer. Yeah, but you can back it and hoard those files, keep them somewhere safe
For one day.
until such time. Yeah. I mean, there's
Make friends with someone.
and until we all chip in together and buy the Models Workshop UK 3D printer, or I've seen advertised there are a lot of 3D printing services that will do different levels of resolution of print.
That's cool.
They tend to charge quite a lot of money, to be fair, but like you can you can get your face virtually. You can take photos of your face. I think front and profile, and send that off, and somebody will make an STL file of your face, which you can then go and get 3D printed at the size of a Lego minifigure.
Oh, they're really creepy. I don't like them at all.
They're hideous.
If I had something like
I
that
love
done,
Lego,
I
but
probably
never
would
get
dip
a
it in
3D
paint.
printed Lego head.
Why not?
So weird.
Have a slightly oversized sort of bobblehead version of you on a minifigure that would. Yeah, why not?
Sounds flattering.
I just put like ginger hair on a normal Lego person and I'm good to go. I don't need to have like an actual mini face of mine on there. That's really weird.
I mean, that's taking your minifigure customization to like the next level.
Yeah. They freak me out a little bit, not gonna lie.
Have you actually looked at Heresy Labs' website? Because I've just been on their store and they've only got 2 figures on there, but the one I really, really like is the Lady of Pestilence. She's carrying a scythe.
All right.
Looks really nice. I mean, to be fair, it just looks like a fat bloke with breasts. But it's still cool.
How do I get to their website?
It's in the Kickstarter profile picture thingy icon. Whatchamacallit.
Creator. There it is. Websites. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm on the Kickstarter app on my phone. I'm trying not to touch my laptop to do anything other than record this, because every time I do something wrong.
Oh yeah, that's a lady. Wow. She's scary.
Yeah. It's a nice model though.
I might show her around to see if she wants it for the Death Guard army. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, the Lady of Pestilence.
Yeah.
Well, she's kind of scary.
I'm getting looks of approval, so I think this is a winner.
And it does look like
Nurgle
a fat
female,
bloke, doesn't it?
40k.
It almost looks like a conversion of the Nurgle Lord, doesn't it?
It's like a female haystack.
Big scythe.
It's the
Well, that
pustules
would,
on the
that would
face
look good.
that do it, isn't it? It's like, ugh.
Pretty
Give
cheap
me
as well, actually.
Give me a kiss.
Yeah, okay, Heresy Girls, Ladies of Pestilence. That's just... Okay, well...
She is definitely not a Chippendale.
But she's going to be on your mind for a long, long time now.
A very long time.
Scarred.
Yeah, it's the maggots on her face that were... I don't know, that's... I'm sure I've met her before.
One time in Thailand.
Nay, mention it. Well, before we run out of steam on our first ever episode, how far has everybody got with what they've been working on? Everybody jump at once.
Not very, because I couldn't find my tin of paint to dip it in.
Right. I've done literally nothing. I think I opened up my wet palette, and that's me closing my wet palette.
I'm pretty sure if Jim was on, he'd probably have painted an army by now.
Absolutely. Easily. I think he got through 12 or 20 figures the last time I spoke to him. The man's a machine. It scares me.
It's impressive.
Especially when you actually see on Facebook the actual quality of the stuff that he does.
Yeah. And that he
It's
can
like,
knock out...
I was eating my tea
20
and I
figures a
got
day.
a big paintbrush out and I went slap, 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 and then it came out like a an award-winning demon.
Yeah.
All right, Jim. Cheers.
Yeah, it's because we're all painting with acrylics and not oils.
That's got to be it.
Yeah. Because I reckon if I got my oil paints out, my painting game would really go up a class or two, right?
Yeah, you literally just have to smear it all over the place. They smear together really well.
I mean, I've got 20, 30 oil paints on my paint rack. I've had them for 10 years, and I've never opened them. Because I don't know what to do with them.
I've got 2, so if I need anything that's black or umber, I'm sorted.
Oh, good. So lots of pin washers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I bought these to do like dot filtering on tanks and spaceships and things, and I'd never actually found the courage to open them up and actually start using them. I've bought the right brushes now. I think last year I bought some Rosemary Co brushes just for oils, and so they don't touch acrylics, and my acrylics won't touch the oils. But I still haven't done it.
But
I don't know what's keeping me.
Isn't that the benefit of using oils, though? Is that if you fuck it all up, you can just kind of like get some white spirits and just slap it off and start again.
It's that you can do airbrush blends without using an airbrush. You can just do it on the model. You mix all the paints there on the model, and then if you fuck it up, then you can just wipe it all off and start again. And that you can come back to it tomorrow and it's still wet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if you're going to do
and you can carry on working on it.
If you're going to do like the dot wash, the dot like weathering and stuff, you could get that paintbrush that I showed you the other day with the 3 prongs on it. And then
that was beautiful.
Saves you half the time.
Did you all see this, guys?
Yeah.
Simon, did you see it?
No.
So it's a 4-inch brush with 3 or 4 miniature-sized paintbrushes sort of welded onto the end of it. So it's like a Steve Vai Flying V guitar with 17 necks on it. Except that it's a 1 paintbrush with 4 paintbrushes on it.
And it's not even novelty. You can buy it on an official website, which is an art shop. That's my favourite part.
Yeah, so.
I thought it was a joke the other day, I'm not going to lie.
I'm still trying to figure out how you'd use it. Because they're all the same size. It's not like you'd be using, you've just got them all on one handle, so you can use your number, a size 1 and a size 2.
And its official name is a pipe overgrainer.
It's an overgrainer.
Like
it's for furniture, isn't it?
It's like it'd be for canvas or something a bit bigger, so you can get an even stroke.
Yeah, I think it's for like painting grain on furniture for your fake wood effect. But I do like the idea. You could then get a painting handle and have everything spaced exactly right. So you have your 4 models and you have your 4 paintbrushes on the one brush, and you just slap them all at the same time, and they all look exactly the same.
Job done.
Well, it's
Easy.
described as the ideal decoration purposes and illustrating natural structures and objects. By using this multi-brush, many special effects are possible, and moreover, you can realise your ideas far more quickly.
Like 4 times as quick.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's only
I'm going to have to build
$13.60.
one of
I'm
these.
buying one, and I'm just going to stick it on my desk, so when anyone comes in, they're like, what the hell is that? Not that I have anyone come round, but it's a nice thought.
What, that you might ever have a guest?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't allow guests.
They might pick stuff up.
The last time I had anybody in here, it was my 6-year-old, and he broke something. I gave him back.
It's probably for the best.
And actually, a couple of weeks later, he went to that model competition thing and picked up the my X-wing and pulled the canopy off it.
Yes.
Because he saw that when I was building it that it had a hinge, so he wanted to lift it and look inside, and he didn't know that I'd glued it down.
And he's now currently working for Fagan.
Yeah, thank God that, Tamiya Super Thin isn't actually that strong, and that Bandai kits snap fit together quite well. Yeah, he bless him, he was very, very upset when he realised that he had possibly broken the thing that was part of the competition.
Which one of you had more tears?
Say again?
Which one of you had more tears?
It was him. Yeah. Because I made him feel bad about it for about a week.
They've got to learn.
Yeah, and if they don't learn straight away, you keep pounding them with the same information over and over and over again until they finally get it through their thick skulls. Yeah. Dad of the year.
You can pick up good ways to raise children from it. I don't think there's anything wrong with mental torture.
Honestly, that's Stephen King is teaching me everything I need to know about my parenting style. Yeah.
It's just too liberal.
If I don't swear at them and hit them enough, then I'm doing a bad job.
Can't agree more.
And on that note, I think we should probably call it a night. Because it's bedtime, isn't it? Well, for some of you night owls, I mean, I know it's been known that I get up at 3 in the morning to chat to the Americans, but I'm trying not to do that too much at the minute.
I'm gonna go watch Match of the Day, and because I've got a throat infection, I'm gonna have a beer to soothe it. Because that's not, you don't have cough medicine, or you have beer.
I wish I had a throat infection. I've run out of beer. Well, the closest thing is I've got a half litre of Benylin.
Nice.
Which I
You
might...
drink all that in one go, it will have the same effect.
The same effect, yeah. And it's about the same price as a pint, so it's... yeah, why not?
It's true.
If
you don't hear from me in the next few days, you know where I am.
Yeah, if the
Probably
podcast
somewhere in the
isn't up
ground.
on Monday, we'll know what's happened. Peter's Benylin addiction has come back.
God, Benylin and codeine, that would be a great night. I think people are getting a really weird impression of me. I sit in my little shed sniffing solvents.
At the bottom of the garden.
Yeah, at the bottom of the garden, getting high on airbrush thinners and huffing Benylin and codeine.
You said your shed had carpet. Whose shed has carpet? What type of shed is this?
I built it so I could paint in it. And then I realised that actually if... all the bits that fall on the floor, I mean, it's offcuts. It's bits from the house that were just getting rolled up and shoved in the loft. So I brought them out here just to catch bits of things that now are eating bits of things. You know, it's
Sounds fancy.
it was meant to be fancy, and it's now basically just a very cramped tool shed just filled with nerd shit.
That sounds cool.
At least I don't have my lawnmower in here. I mean, the idea was I'd have a little display case, I'd have shelves of books, I'd have all my, signed Star Wars figures and other autographed photographs and things, and stick them up on the walls. I haven't got room for that. It turns out that a few racks of paints and a Dremel or two, that's pretty much my entire wall taken up.
You need a bigger shed.
I need a bigger shed. And, I think once I've persuaded the wife to let me have a bigger shed, then then that'll happen. I'm not holding my breath. I think I'm quite happy that she's allowed me the space in the garden to build this little blue box of geekery that she has done.
You don't want to push your luck.
Push my luck. I've got a bright blue box in the bottom of the garden that has an internet connection. And it's filled with plastic solvents, magazines, and microphones. Yeah, I think I've pushed my luck far enough. Along the lines of. Well, thanks for listening, folks. As always, you can get in touch with us on the usual social media channels. On Twitter, it's at MWAH Podcast, and that'll get you through to Larry, not me. I'm at Mini Model Paint. Ian's at...
Painting Troll.
He's at Painting Troll. Simon?
At Scale Model Jedi.
And Chloe, you're not on Twitter, are you?
I'm not, no. I'm on Instagram. It's at LTP_geek.
LTP_geek on Instagram. Cool. So, as we mentioned at the beginning, at the top of the episode, this episode of Models Workshop After Hours UK is sponsored by Audible.com, and you can grab 2 free books by visiting www.bit.ly/After Hours Audible, and those are yours to keep. So until next time, I'm going to say bye.
Bye.
You could all say bye as well if you want.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.